Okay, just maybe an introduction of me. I'm an entrepreneur for more than 20 years. I built a company in the area of document capture, so scanning OCR, recognition, these kind of things. And the company is still alive. They are selling to 22 countries right now. I'm still just the owner, but I was always thinking what will be my next leap in my life. So as a consultant in the processes in the BPM area, I was always like thinking all these interviews with the customers before we implement the BPM. It was long. The information was not really perfect. And I was thinking if it's not possible to do it better. So I found in 2010-11 technology called process mining. And I was amazed by that because do all these interviews, which are really long, takes a long time, it's possible to use the data from the systems and from this data, do the full reconstruction of the processes, see what is really happening, and improve the processes very quickly. So I, as an entrepreneur, okay, this is my next thing. It's great. It has a great value for the customers and people. And so I built a company, the new one, called Minit.io. And we are now 3 years old. We have a very nice customer base in US, in Western Europe, like everywhere, in different segments, from the companies in manufacturing, financial institutions, internet shops, very different. Of course, our customers are also shared service centers. And I would like to share with you my passion for that because I think it could be valuable also for you. So, processes are a key part also in the shared service centers and in BPOs because to be really efficient, every detail is important in the process. And you always ask these questions. So how to increase my productivity? How can I improve? What is the best way to cut my costs? So in the normal way, as I explained, was this, we call it this old school approach, this manual analysis. So the consultants, internal or external, from maybe Big Four or somebody else, will visit you and do all these workshops and interviews. And from the top of it, they will try to figure out that the process is working like that. It's long, because it needs a lot of involvement, not only from the consultants, but also from the employees internally. It's really long, it costs a lot of money, and the results are not great because this information is really subjective. People sometimes really don't remember everything. Sometimes they don't want to tell everything, that's normal, that's human. And on the other hand, we are able, that's how we call it the old school approach, we are able to analyze with the process mining software like billions of events in a second. So just think about, you have a systems, SAPs, ERP systems, different CRMs, service desk system, or some proprietary system, which is normal in banking, finance, pharma, and other industries. And we are, even 100 consultants working 1 year are not possible to analyze these billions of data, which the software is possible to do it in a second. So that's kind of the revolution and the next step. So think about, it's kind of like an X-ray of your company from the process point of view. So you see everything, what is happening there. And it's not like the software is doing full process reconstruction that you see what is happening right now, but it pinpoints you on the problems. Where are the problems, where are the bottlenecks, where are some exceptions, which decreasing your efficiency. So it's not about a one-time analysis, it's about the continuous process improvement. And we are always talking about this improvement, about the cost. So yes, I will show a very nice example for the shared service center. What were the results? At the end of this presentation, there will be a case study. But we are talking about a decrease in the cost, definitely make process much more efficient. The transparency is 100% because you really see what is happening there. And just in terms of, like, RPA is now big boom on the market, also in shared service centers. This is like much more broader thing. So think about, this is a platform which is installed in your company, and it's continuously monitoring all your processes and pinpoint you on some problems, so then you are able to improve and measure this improvement. So here you see a nice example of how it looks. You know, on the left side, on the right side actually, you see a comparison of the process before improvement on the data level and after improvement. So if you see in the performance, there is a performance analysis, how quickly, you know, process steps are executing. The financial analysis, if the costs for these activities in the process are higher or lower, if you are improving or not. Then, of course, the money flow is also important. You know, if this is really important for your company to look at this process variant, or you can just, you know, delete it or not use it anymore. So our software just turns this data in the visual maps. It's a full analytic software, and you are able to really highlight you the opportunities where you can improve. Of course, it can be used for, first of all, to really understand how the processes are working. Then, of course, show you these parts for optimization, but it's also used also for the process audit and compliance. Why this is a big thing? If it's not my idea that it's a big thing, it's Gartner is telling that. I had a call last week with Mark Hermans. Maybe you know this guy. He's responsible for process mining, but now he has a responsibility also for the RPA. And at the end of this year, there will be a first Magic Quadrant for the RPA. So he will do it. And through this discussion, he told me that, look, this year RPA is booming, it's amazing. But next year, the process mining will be even much bigger than RPA. And the biggest two conferences or three, which are Gartner, organized by Gartner, it's called IT Expo. It's in Barcelona, Orlando. The main speech, you know, what will be there, the headlining speech by Mark Hermans, there will be definitely part about the process mining. So all the CIOs will listen to it. So it's something, because it's really important. It's every company needs this. If they would like to compete against the competitors, every % of improvement in the process is important, because it has a direct connection with the costs. So you can imagine, this is possible to use in every organization in very different types of the processes. In the banking, the typicals are normally the mortgage processes, loan processes. In insurance, the claim processing, you know. But the most, I will say the top three are procure to pay, order to cash, and accounts payable. You know, these processes are like in every company because they are financial processes, and that's really the most typical ones. I will now stop a little bit at the shared service centers and the BPOs. So where we see like a huge importance of process mining. So it's about the process standardization. So you probably read this kind of reviews and studies from Deloitte, which is telling that more than 85% of companies who are moving from the company, their operations to the shared service center, are do the standardization during this transformation to the or after. So you know, you can imagine if you have a shared service center and the processes were moved from more countries. In every country, we have a different regulations. The process is a little bit different. And so the standardization is really important. And process mining can really help you with that. So it analyzes the current state, show you what is happening, and then you can simplify. Really see what to do and make it really simplified and really cost-effective. Then the second thing is really about the prioritization, because you will have a lot of insights from process mining, but the prioritization is really important because maybe you can do some very quick wins and with combining with a high impact of efficiency and costs, it's really important. And then we are talking about the continuous process improvement. So process mining is measuring if you are still with the standardization, and even the standardization can be improved, because that was maybe the first measurement and the idea how to improve it, but then you can do it even much better. This is just example of the procure-to-pay process, just that you will think about what are the typical use cases as for the KPIs and use cases for where we find this kind of the cost reduction stuff. So it's optimizing the order cycle, optimizing the payments, reduce the cost per invoice, increase the amount of discount captured, eliminate maverick buying. It's very typical that that in account payable or procure to pay process, sometimes not everything is going through the purchasing department or procurement department. So because of that, the price is not as good as possible, so that's something which, again, we will show you with the software, and you will have all these insights. I will now switch to the RPA. RPA is really booming right now. It's from the study of Process Excellence Network. 60% of the companies are planning to implement RPA, and they're expecting that they will have a savings of the cost in the 60%, that's their expectation. On the other hand, not every RPA project really finished successfully. So from another research of EY, 50% of RPA projects fail in terms of lack of adoption, and also the cost for training your robots can exceed 10 times the cost of the robots themselves. So and why it's happening? That's maybe the correct question. Because sometimes not the right processes really great for the automation has been chosen. Sometimes the processes has been chosen, they are not really optimized before they're the trained robots. So again, what the process mining how process mining can help you really boost the ROI of RPA. The first of all, it's really that it can detect which part of the processes or which processes are the best for automation. So even in our software, we have a special functionality because we are a vendor, which are really, our priority is the build functionalities which help the implementation of RPA to be much more efficient. So that's where we are going as a Minit company. And so we are able with the software identify the most repetitive part, where the most part is in terms of the transactions and is best for the automation. Then after that, we try to really optimize the process, show you really on the efficiency, on the performance and different views, financial part, the most efficient way, efficient process which you can then implement with a robot. And after that, we are able to measure if the ROI of RPA project is in terms of KPIs or not. And if not, we are showing where's the problem. So that's, I think, a great thing where process mining can help. This is, I will not go in the details, so you have this, as I explained it, this scheme explained it, is kind of the continuous process improvement. We are working with one vendor on a very special functionality right now because we have the same investor on background. Is the fastest growing company in the world. I will not put the name, but you will probably know it. It's from the RPA space. And we are working on the special recorder. So they are able to capture the screen. From this, we are able to extract the data and really show you all these visualizations, which part is the best for the RPA. So on the granularity of the RPA, because it's different than the process mining, analyze these processes, and then train the robot and then monitor all of this. OK, so that's about the RPA, just to give you some idea. Now I will go to some results, what we have done with process mining, because that's really important. And so we did one project for one logistic shared service center. It's a pretty big company, more than 10,000 people. They're doing mainly automotive, but also some other, in other areas. And they are working with Toyota, Peugeot, Citroën, and other companies doing the logistics for them. And their idea was, they have implemented they are working on SAP, and they implemented fully digitized process for automated process in 2010 for financial approvals, so invoice approval and order approvals. And so everything, invoices coming to them, they're scanning, recognized automatically, then there is a process for approval, so everything is fully automated. And they said, we are very satisfied. Before, we have like 30 days for this approval step. Now we have 14 days. What do you want to offer to us? And we say, look, I think there is still room for improvement, even in the fully automated environment. So let's try a POC. That's normally how we start with the customers, because nobody wants to believe. They would like to see some results on their data and their processes. So let's do it. So we start to do this with them. And the result was that in the order approval process, we were able to really eliminate 2 manual steps there, which were not really important there. So, and we find, the process was decreased by 12 days, which was like amazing for them. They had some other very interesting stuff, like they were able to identify suppliers, with the long cycle times. But overall, the results are the most important. So the costs, they were able to cut, was more than 300,000 euros per year. And the second was for the invoices. So again, there were some rejected bills. There were some problematic distribution of the work among the employers and some other things, and we were able again to do a really great numbers, but they can't believe that is possible, and it was again very, very nice numbers, more than 14,000 hours per year. It was cost cutting here. We counted, just for information, it's written there. FTE cost was 50K per year. Just to be clear how. So this is something which really process mining can bring you, and I think that's really important to think about it, because if the companies like shared service centers and BPOs would like to be really successful, without this tool, it's just a question of the time. Some companies are more innovative, so they're trying to go and start as soon as possible. We have this type of customers. Some of them are a little bit waiting, but it's just a question of time, because if this competence market, there is no other way how to do it. So from my side, that's all. Do you have any questions?
There's one second.
Thank you very much. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. What about GDPR new regulation?
Okay.
How do you manage this with all this data?
Okay, for the GDPR, I have to be honest. In Europe is very conservative, so they don't want to move the data to the cloud somewhere, Everything must be internal. So all our projects, 98% were on-premise. It means they buy the licenses, they're buying the licenses and use it internally by their process teams, businesses and so on. So they have always the guys who are dealing with the processes, and they have the managers, they have the dashboards, and looking for the KPIs if they are okay or not. So there is no problem, because the company uses it internally, Data is not flowing somewhere.
Any more questions from the audience?
Hi, hello, this is Katarzyna Kwiatek, Capgemini. I would like to ask, how do you approach the client's resistance when it comes to standardizing processes? Because what we see with our customers, there are two types of approach. This is something that we've been doing and we want to be doing, and there are legal exceptions. So how do you build that in? For example, when you have a single process for 50 different countries with different legal regulations.
Of course, you know, for us, it's this standardization is depends on the situation, actual situation in the company. You know, so of course we try to our software will try to show what are the possibilities, and of course the decisions how to do it and the prioritization of the standardization steps are definitely on the consultants. Normally, we are working with the partners. We have the partners in like many countries in the world, and they are doing normally the process with the customers. Sometimes we did also some direct deals, but normally we have the partners model. So these partners, their consultants are trying to help the customers. Sometimes the customers, they normally would like to buy and have this internally, and our partners are helping them with implementing all of this, you know, just with all this knowledge. But to be honest, it really depends on the situation. Is maybe the part of the consulting job. So our software right now in the actual state showing you if you are improving, where to improve, and so on. In the future, maybe we are working on the special functionality in an AI part where we will create kind of the virtual process consultant. So it will do all the simulations for you and show you exactly, okay, so if you do this, the results probability will be this. If you do this, so that's the future. But now, I think companies like Capgemini, they have consultants that are able to really help the customers with this implementation and help them with the priority.
There's a counter question coming.
Yeah, what I was actually wondering if it's possible, or maybe you're already thinking about it, if it would be possible to embed legal regulations per country in tax or any other space in your tool, so that it actually includes the regulation in the process design.
It's a good idea, I have to say, because the auditing case, you know, it's also important. There are consultant companies using our tool really for auditing and compliance, because you have plenty of regulations, you know, based on the European Union, on the country level, and so on. And in some countries which are really progress in this area faster, they're even thinking about kind of the idea to make the process mining tools as a standard for auditing. And I think it's a great idea because then it will be fully automated if we are able, if there are some processes which are pretty standardized, to really compare and show where the compliance issues. Definitely, that's a good idea. Of course, to be honest, every company is a little bit different, so it's not applicable like 100%, that will be, but still, I think, thank you for a good tip.
And the final question.
Hello, my question is more practical. What is scalability of this solution? I mean, how many FTEs or how big process should be to go into this direction?
You know, there is no real limitation. We didn't found any limitation until now, because architecture of the software and so on is done on the way that we are able to process billions of events, you know, in a second. So last year we won the Innovation Award in California at BPM Next Conference because we showed real-time monitoring, you know. So we are able to, there is a stream of events which are, happening in the process, this execution. We are able to really show you in the real time if these processes are compliant with the standardized process or not, and show you some notifications. So we didn't find the limits, and it was really running on the normal servers, not like a big farm. So I don't say it's unlimited because it's not correct to say that. But yeah, you can use with a huge amount of data and really do it online. Of course, not all the systems are ready to do it like real time. So that's why sometimes in a lot of customers there is an export like every night, you know, to the special place in the database where we import and then show some results. So yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rasto, Hlavac, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.